Commander Zara Chun stood at the entrance of the Galactic Council's war chamber, her weathered ceramic composite armor gleaming dully under the harsh alien lighting. The assembled representatives sleek Vorthic in their plasma-infused exoskeletons, towering Krillian warriors wrapped in energy shields, and the insectoid Hive Queen's drones bristling with bio-integrated weaponry turned to stare at the lone human. A collective chittering arose from the Vorthic delegation. Their translator crackled to life with barely concealed amusement. The primitive brings museum pieces to a war council. Ambassador Kefir hissed, his serpentine form undulating with mirth. Tell us, mammal, did you excavate that relic from your species' first fumbling attempts at space travel? The Krillian war chief, standing nearly 3 meters tall, let out a rumbling laugh that shook the chamber's crystalline walls. My ancestors wore more advanced protection when they were still swinging clubs. Perhaps the humans have confused this gathering with a historical reenactment. Even the normally stoic ethereal collective's representative allowed a pulse of condescending blue light to emanate from their translucent form. One wonders if the Terran Federation has finally acknowledged their technological inferiority by sending us a living fossil. Zara remained motionless, her expression hidden behind the armor's simple faceplate. She had heard it all before, the same arrogant dismissal that had followed humanity since they'd first stumbled into galactic society 3 decades ago. While other species boasted energy shields, self-repairing nano-armor, and weapons integrated directly into their biological systems, humans still clung to what the galaxy considered laughably primitive technology. "You're quite finished?" Zara asked quietly, her voice carrying clearly through the chamber's acoustic dampeners. Kefir's eyes glittered with malicious humor. "Oh, but we've barely begun. That armor appears to be constructed from, what is that archaic material? Ceramic? Steel alloys? How delightfully rustic. I particularly enjoy the complete absence of energy shielding," the war chief added, his massive weapon humming with barely contained plasma. "One solid hit from any weapon in this room would reduce both you and that antique to vapor." The Hive Queens. Drone clicked its mandibles in what passed for laughter among their species. The humans' technology appears frozen in time while the galaxy advanced beyond their comprehension. Perhaps they believe primitive materials possess some mystical property we sophisticated species have overlooked. Zara tilted her head slightly, a gesture that somehow conveyed both amusement and patience. Mystical? No. But you're right about one thing. You have overlooked something fundamental. "Enlighten us," Kefir drawled, his forked tongue tasting the air with anticipation. "You spent centuries perfecting energy-based systems," Zara began, taking a measured step into the chamber. "Plasma weapons, particle beams, energy shields, bioelectric interfaces. Your entire military doctrine revolves around manipulating and channeling various forms of energy." The war chief's massive weapon powered up with an ominous whine. "Yes, and it has served us well in conquering half the galaxy." "Your point?" "My point," Zara said, reaching toward a seemingly innocuous panel on her chest plate, "is that every energy-based system has a fundamental vulnerability that you've forgotten to account for." Her fingers found the activation switch. The effect was instantaneous and absolute. Every weapon in the chamber plasma rifles, energy swords, bioelectric stingers, particle cannons simply stopped working. Shield generators flickered and died. Even the chamber's own defensive systems fell silent as their power cores mysteriously failed to function. The silence that followed was deafening. Kefir frantically pressed triggers that produced nothing but impotent clicks. The war chief's massive cannon had become an expensive club. The Hive Queen's drones found their bioelectric weapons completely unresponsive. "Impossible," the ethereal representative pulsed, their usual serene blue light now flickering with panic. "What trickery is this?" Zara's armor began to emit a low, steady hum that seemed to fill the chamber with an invisible presence. "No trickery, just good old-fashioned human engineering. You see, while you were perfecting ways to generate and focus energy, we were perfecting ways to disrupt it." She gestured to her seemingly primitive armor. This museum piece contains something your advanced civilizations never developed comprehensive. Electromagnetic pulse generators, quantum field disruptors, and localized null-field projectors. Technology so simple you overlooked it entirely. The war chief took a menacing step forward, raising his now useless weapon like a club. Primitive tricks will not. He froze mid-sentence as Zara's armor emitted a barely audible whine. Every piece of electronic equipment on his person life support monitors, communication devices, even his cybernetic implants simply stopped functioning. I wouldn't recommend getting any closer, Zara advised calmly. The field strength increases exponentially within a 3-meter radius. Any closer and your cybernetic enhancements might suffer permanent damage. The assembled representatives exchanged nervous glances, suddenly aware of how dependent they had become on their energy-based technologies. The beauty of primitive materials, Zara continued conversationally, is their independence from complex energy systems. This armor doesn't need power to stop your weapons. It just needs to disrupt the power that runs them. Kethra's voice cracked with barely controlled fury. This changes nothing. Your species still lacks the firepower to challenge the established order. Does it? Zara asked mildly. Because from where I'm standing, every weapon in this room belongs to me now. Your plasma rifles, paperweights, your energy shields, decorative, accessories, your bioelectric systems completely offline. She paused, letting the implication sink in. The Terran Federation didn't send me here to negotiate as equals, she continued. We sent me here to demonstrate that sometimes the most advanced technology in the galaxy is the ability to turn everyone else's technology off. The ethereal representative's light dimmed to a frightened whisper. What do you want? A seat at the table, Zara replied simply. Equal representation in the council. And maybe, just maybe, a little more respect for the species that remembers how to fight without fancy gadgets. She reached for the deactivation switch on her chest plate. Of course, I could always leave this field active permanently. I'm sure you'd all adapt eventually to life without energy weapons. Might even build character. Wait, Kethra hissed desperately. Perhaps we were hasty in our assessment of human capabilities. Zara's hand paused over the switch. Is that a formal request for reconsideration? It is, the war chief rumbled, his pride clearly struggling with pragmatism. The Council recognizes the strategic value of Terran defensive technologies and human ingenuity more generally. Zara pressed, a chorus of reluctant agreement. Arose from the assembled representatives. Zara deactivated the field, and the chamber systems hummed back to life. Weapons powered up, shields regenerated, and cybernetic implants resumed their quiet functioning. Excellent, she said cheerfully. I'll inform the Federation that the Council is ready to discuss Earth's full membership. Owing, gentlemen? She gestured to her armor with obvious pride. Never underestimate the power of a good old-fashioned EMP generator. As she turned to leave, Zara couldn't help but smile behind her faceplate. Sometimes the best way to prove you belonged among the Pa Stars was to remind everyone else what happened when the lights went out.